I have with me the founder and CEO of Pony.ai, James Peng, who is pioneering a lot of this technology for autonomous driving, including the one behind you, which is the partnership with Toyota and also Guangzhou Auto. That joint venture essentially has this fleet of robotaxis. You are already rolling these out on the streets of China. How much of a good test ground is China become for this kind of technology?
Yes, great. It's great to see you, Steve, in the Beijing Auto Show. In fact, we have already testing the driverless vehicles on the open road in China for the last 6 years. Starting from a year and a half ago, we're running fully driverless in both Beijing and Guangzhou to the public.
To the public, so actually paying passengers are getting in these and using them as a robotaxi?
Absolutely.
In select areas, though?
In the whole region. So in the whole district, it's not like a small part of the road. For example, in Beijing, it's 60 square kilometers of Yizhuang district. And in Guangzhou, it's 800 square kilometers of the Nansha district. So it's the regular users using these vehicles as a taxi service for their daily usage.
So what's the next step? I heard there was an announcement yesterday, along with Toyota, your main partner, that there will be a fleet of these robotaxis across China. Can you give me what you plan over the next, say, 5 years?
Absolutely. So the first and foremost, Toyota is a strategic partner and an important collaborator for Pony.ai. And the joint venture we formed lately is for the mass production of the vehicles that we have seen over here. And this will be thousands of vehicles that will be off the assembly line of the GAC factory, and they will be deployed into the cities for the regular users and passengers to enjoy.
Tell me a little bit about the technology. We're going to talk about the IPO coming as well and some of the other finances. But as far as the technology here, of course, there's some debate about the right technology going forward. We know that Elon Musk is talking about robotaxis as well. He's kind of looking, though, for pure vision technology, using cameras, less on maps, and LiDAR. What kind of technology do you have built in here in the front of the car as well as on the top?
Yeah, of course. I think these vehicles, compared with our previous ones, at least on the outlook, you have two important improvements. One is it's much more integrated. If you take just a glance of it, you can hardly tell this is a robotaxi, right? It's like all the sensors are fully integrated with the vehicle. Another feature is we have greatly enhanced the user interaction features. For example, the interface inside the front panel even has the welcome lights on top. In terms of technology, we use sensor fusion with LiDAR, with camera. The main reason is we think technology is the means to the end, which the end is for safety, for comfortness. And we use a good technology to ensure the passengers are safe, they're going to enjoy the ride, and as the technology progresses, of course, we'll probably use cheaper sensors, and the LiDAR pricing is going down to the hundreds of dollars, even cheaper.
Right. So what obviously you've applied for an IPO potentially in the United States, either NYSE or the NASDAQ. We got that announcement this week from Chinese regulators. They've essentially approved. That is correct, right? The Chinese regulators have approved for you to go list in the United States, which is a big move as well, because there's been a bit of a chill, obviously, for Chinese listings in the United States. First of all, how significant is that to list in the United States, to tap those institutional investors, and how much do you really need to raise to essentially propel this?
Currently is a CSRC approval, so that means we are, from the Chinese regulatory point of view, we are eligible to be listed. But then, of course, it's just the beginning step of the IPO journey. And along the way, we'll talk to the investors. We'll see what's the market condition is. And then based on that, we'll form our financing strategy.
Do you need to be profitable before you list? Are you profitable, or when will you be profitable? This is the better question.
No, I think for us, compare with several years ago, the good news is we are actually formed a solid business plan. Right now, we have actually solid revenue coming in. We have great partners like Toyota. And we have actually formed into trucking business, into the mass production ADAS business. So our business lines is diversified, and I think we are in a good, solid condition to be IPO eligible. Of course, in terms of the profitable, I think it's along the way. Part of the joint venture and mass production of the autonomous driving vehicles is a solid step towards the path to profitability.
How, though, if you do list in the United States, obviously you have some global ambitions, how do you address the data security concerns that have risen? I mean, you have to navigate geopolitics and data security. You don't want to become the next one in the crosshairs like TikTok, right? So how do you address these issues?
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually in the front and the center of our strategy going international. Actually, currently, we already have plans to work in the Korea market, in the Middle East, and we actually have a small effort in the Luxembourg as well. In each of those efforts, the local regulation has always been the number one in our mind, and will follow all the regulatory requirements. In terms of data security, we have a strict policy. All the local data stays local. And of course, all the other, in terms of just the other mapping issue, everything else, we're definitely conforming to the regulation.
Are you finding, you talked about those international ambitions in South Africa, in Luxembourg, in Saudi Arabia, obviously potentially listing in the United States. Are you finding that the Chinese offerings, including what you're offering, is being well received? Because the U.S. has its own offerings as well, like Waymo and Cruise. What kind of reception are you getting?
Yeah, I think the reason we'll go international is, first, it's our vision, it's our mission, where our company model is autonomous mobility everywhere. So very start from the day one, we have the global ambition to offer autonomous driving service to the users globally. We have good partners in those local markets, and they value and cherish our technology, our product. So it's their help, it's their local government's help that empowered us to go to those markets.
Very quick, we have to go, but IPO within 5 years? Within 2 years?
Hopefully so not, but we'll see.
Within 2 years?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.